Hi, I'm Claire Rees,
And I'm Colin Dixon.
and this is the first in our new monthly update, FinCrime Connection, brought to you by ThirdEye, where we bring you current stories we think you need to know about in the world of financial crime. Colin is our AML specialist based in New Zealand, and he was the product manager for ThirdEye when we started the product way back in 2012. Colin spends his time advising clients on their use of ThirdEye.
And Claire is a financial crime professional who spent 20 years within financial services, predominantly mortgages and building societies, as a head of financial crime. She's been with Jade for over 3 years now as our regulatory and financial crime subject matter expert.
Thanks, Colin. And I've spent the last 3 weeks in New Zealand and I'm now in Australia. I've been visiting regulators, clients, and various other AML professionals on the road with Colin. Whilst we were in Auckland, Jade hosted a roundtable with some AML professionals, which was chaired for us by Martin Dilley, who is the co-chair of the Australasian chapter of ACAMS.
And one of the key subjects we discussed at the roundtable was the new legislation in New Zealand about risk rating a customer before providing them with a designated service. So Claire, I know that you like the letter of the law. So what does it say?
Oh, I'm such a stickler. I do. The amendment comes into force on the 1st of June and it states that a reporting entity must risk rate a new customer when conducting customer due diligence, and the reporting entity must keep a record of the customer's risk rating and review the customer's risk rating.
So isn't risk rating a customer before providing a designated service something most reporting entities should have been doing anyway?
Yeah, that's right. It's been good practice in New Zealand, and I would expect most reporting entities in most countries would follow this approach. But the difference is that this law now compels firms to do it. That means it must be part of your AML programme, and the reasons for the risk rating must be documented. So I think it's more interesting to talk about what reporting entities should do once they've got that risk information.
Yeah, that's right. That's the part of the amendment about reviewing the risk rating. That's where a transaction monitoring system can help. The initial risk rating is based on customer information and the products they use. But over time, the behaviour of the customer becomes known as they transact. This may change your view of the risk posed by the customer. And this information is gained from transaction monitoring that should perform part of your ongoing review of the customer's risk level. Additionally, there should be a periodic review, which may be on a different period for high risk compared to medium or low risk customers.
So the message from this legislative change is really to update your programme so that you conduct risk rating at onboarding and at regular events or periods throughout the lifetime of your relationship with the customer, and keep everything documented.
Okay, let's move on to some recent news from Australia. There was a cyber attack on several superannuation companies that resulted in around 9,000 customers having their fund compromised.
Yeah, and I think this is a timely reminder that criminals don't just target one customer at a time. In this case, we've got organised criminals attempting coordinated attacks to impact many customers at the same time.
So the first line of defence against these attacks has to be to lock the front door. And that's the role of the IT and security teams.
And I'm sure these teams are on a high alert, especially after this incident. But the financial crime teams behind the scenes, for them, transaction monitoring can play a key role in protecting their customers, albeit after the attack has occurred.
Yes, that's right. Transaction monitoring is designed to pick up suspicious or unusual behaviour. So with the right rules, it should be able to detect each customer that's been affected by the attack. Whilst it's still after the attack's occurred, a response as close to the time of the attack as possible gives a better chance of recovering funds and also preventing similar attacks. Well, let's move on to the UK. Have you been keeping up with events in the UK whilst you've been over here?
I've been trying to. Yes, I have, Colin. And this week, the UK Financial Investigation Unit, the National Crime Agency, have published their latest annual SARS report.
So what are the headlines?
Well, the NCA are busy. That's the main headline, without a doubt. Overall, their SAR volumes have increased this year to just over 872,000 SARs received in the reporting period April 23 to March 24. The report also confirms that the number of defence against money laundering reports have decreased in the period, and this is likely as a result of the threshold for reporting a defence or a DAML SAR, increasing the threshold from £100 to £1,000. Despite this, though, the number of DAMLs where there was no previous law enforcement investigation underway and which have subsequently been used to stop money laundering or prevent criminals accessing the proceeds of crime has increased by a whopping 61%.
That demonstrates that reporting entities are taking their AML obligation seriously and that the quality of reports is sufficient for law enforcement action.
Yeah, that's right. The report also states that the NCA delivered over 300 engagements with reporters in the past year. So these included sessions like SAR feedback sessions, presentations on best practice for SARs, and other types of workshops with reporters. So it definitely seems from the published statistics that the hard work is paying off through better quality reports.
Hey, that's really good news to hear. And so that's a wrap for this month. So Claire, it's been great having you in New Zealand and Australia, and safe travels back to the UK.
Thanks, Colin.